Rod and Valerie Jarrett called the Other Manhattan Project. And if anybody thinks, oh, you conservatives are racist, you'll never accept a black woman as president, well, we have one. We have Valerie Jarrett. And let me tell you what President Jarrett does every night. This is her last responsibility of the night. She tucks Barack Obama into bed, kisses him on the forehead, gives him his ice cream, tells him how perfect he is, and reads him his favorite bedtime story, The Little Prince. Luckily for all of us, she only gets 2/3 of the way through because of sequester budget cuts. Now, shifting gears as to why I became a Republican. I became a Republican because I am the son of a Holocaust survivor. And when you are the son of a Holocaust survivor, you will not get an ounce of sympathy growing up for anything as long as you live. Teenage angst did not exist in my household. Praise was not doled out. You did the right thing because it was expected of you. Heaven help you if you didn't. I remember at age 14, I tried to convince my father social studies class was too difficult. My father looked at me unsympathetically and asked, "Did the teacher try to shoot you?" I said, "No, Dad." And this is a man entered the world being shot at, Holocaust survivor, then became a Vietnam vet, shot at, then became a school teacher in Brooklyn, PS 335, Bed-Stuy, do or die, okay, shot at. That was his most dangerous assignment. He used to come home, he'd say, "Look, the Nazis, we escaped. I don't know if I'm going to get out of PS 335 alive." And by the way, to let you know how dangerous, and the kids, this is a tangent, but let me tell you about PS 335. They loved my father because he was like Joe Clark from Lean on Me, and it was an all-black school, but they loved my dad. And he had to tell the kids, "There's going to be a white kid at school tomorrow. That's my son." Okay? Which means protected status. And I remember, I love these kids, so I never understood racism because those kids were great to me. And they gave me these stopwatches to wear, and I wore them back in my middle-class suburban Long Island. I looked like Flavor Flav. And, you know, and 10 years later, I went back to my dad. I said, "Dad, you remember those stopwatches I wore as a kid?" He goes, "Yeah, you look like an idiot. What's the point?" I said, "Did you know that the white kids were not wearing them?" I said, "You just figured this out now 10 years later." I said, "Well, why didn't you say anything?" I said, "Because those kids treated you like one of their own. They welcomed you in. They made you an honorary soul brother, and you didn't know anything from anything, and it was the right thing to do to wear those stopwatches." So my attitude is, don't give me forced diversity or forced multiculturalism. You give me something that I have in common with people who listen to music my father hates and great fashion sense, and we will all bond and we will all get along. You put people in a football game rooting for the same team, they will all get along. That's real diversity and real multiculturalism. It has worked since the beginning of time. Now, going forward again, we cannot make the same mistakes that we have made in the past. Finally, a member of the Zionist Crusader Alliance.
Yeah, you remember
that. But my dad, he's a curmudgeon. He's in South Florida. And my dad, he had that butterfly ballot in South Florida, the one designed by Democrats, meant for Democrats, meant to elect Republicans. And my dad looked at me in 2000 and said, "Son, if your mother and I ever get to the point where we can't figure out a ballot, or we're too feeble to push the thing all the way through, son, at that moment we will have become liberals, euthanize us, the house is yours." My parents are still complaining in South Florida. My dad's like, "We have got to secure the border." I said, "Dad, what have the Cubans ever done to you? They vote Republican. What's the problem? What do you have against Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz?" My dad said, "Son, I'm talking about the northern Florida border. The Long Island liberals keep coming." He wants us to get our best sharpshooters at the Citadel in South Carolina, keep them from reaching Georgia. Florida, Arizona, California, Texas, overrun by parasites who drain the state of services, don't work, demand new services, speak a foreign language I don't understand. I don't recognize my own country anymore, all because worthless parasites take and give nothing back. Of course, I'm talking about AARP liberals. And here is my illegal immigration plan, okay? Take every illegal Mexican or Hispanic or Latino that is in the United States, give them complete amnesty. And yes, I used the A word. Give them all amnesty, but in return, for every illegal Hispanic, Latino, Mexican who you give amnesty, deport one white liberal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that will increase the diversity and multiculturalism of the United States and Mexico. And right now the Mexicans are building a border fence. They don't want white liberals. They see what they've done. Okay, who is a bigger threat to America? The Mexicans come here, they work hard. What work has Debbie Wasserman Schultz or Nancy Pelosi ever done?
That's right.
Barbara Boxer in California just announced she was retiring after 30 years. And I was like, retiring from what?
From what?
Don't you have to do something first to be able to retire from it? That's like Obama taking a vacation. I don't understand. His life is a vacation. That's why I don't celebrate his birthday. He's had a few thousand years of birthday every day the last half a century. So I tell people, okay, who's done more to mess up California? Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein, the Velociraptor, and Jerry Brown, or Mexicans who want to pick lettuce? I will bring in 1 million Mexicans to pick lettuce, deport the California and New York legislators. Get them out, and then you will have a better country. Now, I want to spend one more thing on gender and racial issues, and then I will wrap it up with some advice for the elections. Gender issue. You all know who Sandra Fluck is, right? She is not a hero of feminism. She is a parasite who wanted free stuff that is not free. Now, first of all, she doesn't need birth control. I've talked to gay and straight men. None of them want to go after her, okay? They're all united. She's heinous, okay? But let's say, hypothetically, there's a blind guy out there, okay? Let's say David Patterson. Okay? You know, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, all right? But let's say, okay, that, you know, she's somewhere able to get a boyfriend somehow. Let me tell you now, if Sandra Fluck has her birth control paid for by the government in the name of gender equality, okay, I am going to lead on college campuses around America the 1 Million Frat Boy March, okay? And I'm going to demand that men have their needs paid for by the government, okay? Marvin Gaye and Barry White records, scented candles, and if they look like Sandra Fluck, lots and lots of hard alcohol. All paid for by the government, the 1 Million Frat Boy March, okay? So my message to Sandra Fluck and Wendy Davis and in Texas, and Hillary Clinton, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Maxine Waters, and Sheila Jackson Lee, and Barbara Lee, and Barbara Boxer, and I'm going to use some very salty language, so men, cover your ears. My message to all these ladies is take your fake feminism, your phony war on women, and shut the Sandra Fluck up. Now, I gave you a gender issue, I will give you a racial issue involving my friend Herman Cain. I said, Herman, you're a good man, but America is just not ready for you yet. We're not there yet. And Herman looked at me and said, what do you mean, Eric? And he mentioned people like Ward Connerly and Armstrong Williams and Michael Steele, the former RNC chair, and Tim Scott in South Carolina, Elbert Guillory in Louisiana. I said, all of them disqualified. He said, Eric, what do you have against black Republicans? I said, black Republicans? Herman, you know me better than that. I was talking about the follically challenged. I said, Herman, come on, you didn't have a chance against Mitt Romney. He looked like he was born out of the womb, wearing a red and blue diagonal necktie, talking about debits and credits, okay? I thought he was my CPA, and I wanted to treat Mitt Romney winning the White House like Bill Parcells or Tom Coughlin winning the Super Bowl. I wanted to give Romney the Gatorade bath and make him look like a hedgehog. But I said, Herman, I'm sorry, America's just not ready for you yet. I said, Herman, do you remember 2008? Republicans had Rudy Giuliani, John McCain, Fred Thompson. Democrats had Christopher Dodd, Barack Obama, John Edwards. No substance, destructive policies, really good hair. I said, Herman, I'm sorry, America's just not ready for you yet. We're not there yet. I'm sorry, Herman, but the Cain train needs Rogaine. And Herman looked at me and said two things I will always remember. The first thing he said is, Eric, I've talked to Tim Scott. if either of us get vice president or defense secretary, we'll have access to Predator drones and we'll know where to find you. And on the subject of drones, when Barack Obama announced he was sending a drone to the Middle East, John Kerry stood up and said, "Finally, a job I'm qualified for." And I even got Rand Paul and the libertarians to compromise on drones. Not an easy thing to do. It should be perfectly acceptable to use drones on American citizens on American soil if the target is the Academy Awards or the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Which brings me to the second thing that Herman Cain taught me before I take some questions. And it's something politicians should understand, comedians should understand, and Barack Obama will never, ever understand. What Herman Cain taught me, it's always better to have people ask, "Why are you finished speaking?" than "When are you finished speaking?" So I will leave you with a Hebrew word and then take as many questions as you want. The questions I normally get: why are Jews liberal? Who's going to be the 2016 GOP nominee? You have no say whatsoever. It's already decided. We picked the nominee. How do we get more young people becoming Republicans? Anything and everything. Use your Second Amendment rights. Fire at will. I know you'll have questions because my parents have so many that remain unanswered. The Hebrew word I leave you with is hineni. It means here I am. Never give up. Never give in. Always fight for what you believe in. Never back down from a fight. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Bring a bazooka or a Predator drone if you have access to one. And if you do, the AG has paperwork for you to fill out. We are right. The left is wrong. We will win. They will lose. We will laugh and we will make them cry in 2016, 2018, 2020, and beyond, and have fun doing it. Live, love, laugh, win. Hineni, here I am. Republican, conservative, proud of it always. Thank you so very much. God bless. Now, I'll take questions if there's, is there time for questions? I'll take questions. My only thing is that I'm absolutely addicted to the National Football League, so we are going to be out of here on time so that we can make kickoff. Fire at will, and then afterwards I will be selling copies of my book, and that fedora there is because I'm from California, well, broke. So I take everything from silver bullion to McDonald's gift certificates, provided the bullion can be converted into gift certificates. McRibby is coming up. So I'll take one or two, please. Fire at will, and then I'm going to wrap it up with strategy. Yes?
Why are so many Jews liberal?
You're a planted question. Okay, it used to be Jewish meant Democrat, Christian meant Republican. Okay, that's changed. Now there was Christian anti-Semitism towards the Jews. It was 1,000 years ago. I'm over it. I've moved on. Okay. The problem is that it's secular, liberal, whatever you are. You're going to be secular, conservative, whatever you are. You're more likely to be religious. So liberal Jews are liberals first and Jews second. Okay, their religion is liberalism. Same way you've got cafeteria Catholics and Christians that think that the entire religion is presents on the 25th and the Easter Bunny. Okay? Now, I don't know much about Christianity. I don't know anything about Christianity. But if you've got 1 billion followers, there's something more going on than hop-along rabbits. Okay? I think it involves something very, very deep. Okay? So, bottom line is that liberal Jews, they're what I call the Seinfeld Jews. They think that being Jewish means eating bagels and watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's not Judaism, that's liberalism. Now, there's a medical procedure to cure not just Jewish liberalism, but all liberalism. It's called cranial gluteal extraction surgery. Okay, Benjamin Carson should come out of retirement to perform it. It's not covered by Obamacare. Now, one of the other things that I will say is, how do you talk to Jewish people? Because this is all about advocacy. Don't get into social issues. They will shut down. Don't talk about Israel because they'll get defensive. Stick to bread and butter economic issues. Food on the table, the normal stuff you talk to everybody about. Okay, gas prices have come down, but when they go back up, and they will, or when heating oil skyrockets in the winter, okay, talk to them about that. Talk to them about food on the table. And, you know, I don't have to say this in New York. I have to say this in other parts of the country. Don't ever say anything like, well, y'all have all the money. Okay, bad, bad, bad. Okay? Jews and money is like blacks and chicken and watermelon, okay? Don't do it unless you want to get your butt kicked picked, okay, that's bigotry, okay? If you advance bigotry, you lose. That's one thing. Do not ever, ever, ever. Don't try to be condescending. The dumbest thing you can do is try to go into a different community and try, like the way Hillary Clinton with her fake Southern accent, okay? Because I was at the North Carolina Republican Party convention, and the media went up to this one black man in his 30s and said, so what's it like being a Democrat at the Republican convention? He goes, I'm a Republican! And they said, well, what's it like? You must be proud of Herman Cain. I'm supporting Michelle Bachmann. Well, but why aren't you supporting Herman? I have a philosophy! And they couldn't understand this. And they're looking at him and he's like, I'm black, I'm supporting Michelle Bachmann, you're an idiot, leave me alone, okay? And I tell you, I was praying to God that the reporter would have asked him about rap music so that he would have been justified in punching her, okay? So, advocacy, okay? Don't go into a community, think you know them, and don't tell people what they should care about. Ask people what they care about. Okay? Ask them, find out what's in their hearts. Because if all somebody cares about is abortion, and you talk to them about illegal immigration, their eyes are going to glaze over. I can't stand it when somebody comes in the Jewish community, Israel this, Israel that, Israel this, Israel that. I'm like, are you going to cut taxes or not? Okay? Do you care about the Second Amendment or not? I'm a Republican. Talk to me about Republican stuff. Couple more and I'm going to be less expansive, okay? If nobody has anything, I'm going to wrap it up with strategy, okay? I'm just going to burn through this. 2014, does anybody have anything else going once, twice, thrice? Okay. 2014 was easy. Our message was very simple. They're in charge, they suck, we're not them, okay? That's an easy message to win with. 2016, we gotta be positive, okay? The day after the State of the Useless, I want you to do something that's gonna be very, very difficult. Let Barack Obama go. Do not mention his name again. He's utterly irrelevant, okay? Do not even talk about him. You could fight him, but don't mention his name, okay? And don't worry, first of all, don't use apocalyptic rhetoric like he's gonna seek a third term and instill martial law, okay? Because if he tries that, he'll be dead in a week at the hands of Hillary Clinton. She's like Lady Macbeth, except less ethical. All right, and let Hillary do the dirty work for us, because don't think that Barack Obama has absolute power and can do whatever he wants and govern against the people. Because if he tries to do that, every time Barack Obama does something bad, Republicans across this country had better be putting microphones in front of Hillary Clinton's face. Let her be the victim of Barack Obama's sins. Every time Barack Obama tries to pass an executive order, Hillary, what do you think of this? Smoke her out, force her to answer questions. Force her to tell us what she believes. Don't let her hide anywhere. There should be a ton of cameras in front of her every single day, okay? So if Barack Obama tries to govern against the will of the people and does terrible executive orders, Hillary's people are going to undermine him and kneecap him if it hurts her in the polls. She wants him out because she does not want him to be a liability. So he does not have this absolute power that you think. Nobody is afraid of him, okay? This is a man, he bowled a 37, he can't skeet shoot, 2 for 22 in basketball, 0 for 5 in the football toss. Chris Christie had to win him a stuffed animal at the Jersey Shore. And when he threw that baseball on live national television, he was wearing mom jeans.
Yeah.
Nobody is afraid of this man, so please do not mention his name again. What I want you to do is when people come up to you, now the time to bash him is over. We bashed him into 2014 because that was the smart thing to do. But after his State of the Useless on Tuesday, stop bashing him. Now you go forward. Here's what we do. When somebody comes up to you and says, I don't know what I was thinking, I voted for Obama, turn on the empathy. You have to do this. They already know Obama sucks. Don't pile on. Don't make them feel bad. It's like saying, oh yeah, we knew your husband was a louse. What were you thinking? Yeah, like that's helpful, okay? Or, yeah, we knew that stock was a dog. Who does your investing? And then you find out they self-invest, okay? If they don't like you, they won't listen to you. So, what happens is when somebody comes up to you and tells you they voted for Obama, you look at them and you go, it's okay. A lot of people voted for President Obama. Be respectful at this point, use his title. A lot of people voted for President Obama. I understand you're hurting. A lot of people are hurting, but that's the past. Let's talk about the future. Let me tell you about, and insert the words,